The massive alien ship floated silently in the darkness beyond Jupiter. Commander Zethkar stood on the bridge, his forearms crossed as he watched the small, blue planet on his screen. Earth. The humans called it Earth. For 200 years, his people and the other races in the Galactic Council had been watching this world from far away. "Sir, the latest reports are ready," said Science Officer Valana. Her scaled hand shook as she handed him the datapad. Zethkar could see the fear in her yellow eyes. Even talking about humans made most of his crew nervous. Zethkar looked at the numbers on the screen and felt his stomach twist. In just 50 Earth years, these creatures had gone from fighting with simple guns to building weapons that could destroy entire cities. They had split the atom and turned it into a bomb. Twice they had used these terrible weapons against their own kind. "They fight each other all the time," Valana whispered. "2 massive wars in less than one of our lifespans. They kill millions of their own people without thinking twice about it." Commander nodded slowly. Earth was what the Council called a Class 12 death world. Most planets that supported life were gentle places with light gravity, calm weather, and safe conditions. Earth was different. Earth was trying to kill everything on it every single day. The gravity on Earth was so strong it would crush most aliens flat. The air had so much oxygen in it that fires burned hotter and faster than anywhere else in the galaxy. The weather was insane. Storms that could level cities happened regularly. Earthquakes split the ground open. Volcanoes melted everything around them. Floods drowned entire regions. Any normal species would have died out long ago on such a horrible world. But humans didn't just survive. They grew stronger. Captain Jake Morrison had no idea that alien eyes were watching him as he walked onto the bridge of his ship. The USS Endeavour was one of Earth's newest space vessels. Designed to patrol the outer solar system and watch for asteroids that might threaten the planet. "Morning, Captain," said Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez from her position. At the weapons console, she was a small woman with dark hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "We're picking up some strange readings near Europa." Jake looked at the data on his screen. For the past few weeks, his science team had been detecting weird energy patterns. Around Jupiter's moons, the readings didn't match anything in their computers. It was like something was out there using technology that humans had never seen before. "Any ideas what it could be?" Jake asked. Amy shook her head. "Whatever it is, it's using some kind of advanced hiding technology. The energy signature appears and disappears like it's being turned on and off." Meanwhile, on the hidden alien flagship, Admiral Quinthara was facing the biggest crisis of her long career. 3 different alien races had already asked permission to attack Earth before the humans could develop space travel. The fear was spreading through the Council like a disease. "You saw what happened to Probe 7? Hissed Ambassador Sithak. His snake-like body coiled in anger. "We sent a simple research team to study their cities. One human female with primitive weapons killed the entire squad." The Admiral remembered the video footage. A human woman, barely 5 feet tall, had somehow detected the cloaked alien soldiers. Using nothing but a projectile weapon that fired small metal pieces, she had destroyed an entire team of trained warriors in less than 60 seconds. The woman hadn't even seemed afraid. She had looked angry. "These creatures are not like us," continued the ambassador. "They don't run from danger. They attack it. They are predators in a way we can barely understand." On Earth, Dr. Lisa Park was working late in her laboratory in the Atacama Desert. She was a scientist who studied signals from space, always hoping to find proof that humans were not alone in the universe. Her radio equipment was some of the most advanced on the planet, capable of picking up faint signals from the deepest parts of space. Tonight was different. Tonight, her computers were going crazy. "Director Bennett, you need to see this," she called to her boss, trying to keep the excitement out of her voice. "I think we just received our first message from another world." Director Bennett hurried over to look at the data on her screen. The signal was short but clear. It had been sent on a frequency that humans had never used before, and it was definitely artificial. Someone, or something, had sent Earth a message. But as Dr. Park worked to decode the signal, she had no idea that she was about to change the course of human history forever. The message was simple, sent in a mathematical code that any intelligent, species should be able to understand. The aliens had been watching and waiting for the right moment to make contact. They had studied human behavior for decades, analyzing their wars, their technology, and their social structures. The Council had decided that humans were too dangerous to be allowed to develop space travel. The plan was simple: send a message, demanding surrender. Most species, when faced with obviously superior technology, would submit immediately. The Council would then move in, take control of the planet, and relocate the humans to a safer world where they could be properly managed. Back on the flagship, Commander Zethkar was having second thoughts about the whole operation. He had been studying humans longer than most of his crew, and he was starting to understand something that the Council leaders didn't want to hear. "Sir," reported his tactical officer Nexstar, "all ships are in position. We can begin transmission of the surrender demand whenever you're ready." Zethkar looked at the blue planet on his screen one more time. Somewhere down there, billions of humans were going about their daily lives, completely unaware that they were being watched by an alien fleet. They had no idea that in a few hours, everything would change. "Send the message," he ordered, though. Every instinct told him this was a mistake. The transmission was broadcast to every major government and military base on Earth at the same time. Using translation technology that had worked perfectly on hundreds of other worlds, the message was converted into dozens of human languages. "People of Earth, you are surrounded by the forces of the Galactic Council. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships. Your violent nature makes you unfit to join the civilized galaxy. You have one choice: surrender now or face complete destruction." Park was the first human to receive the full message. She stared at her screen in shock as the alien words appeared in perfect English. This wasn't just first contact. This was a threat. She immediately called the emergency number that connected directly to the Pentagon. Within minutes, the message was being analyzed by the best minds in the military and government. What happened next would surprise the aliens completely. Instead of panic, instead of immediate surrender, something else began to happen all across Earth. Humans started getting angry in military bases around the world. Generals and admirals began making phone calls. Scientists who had been working on theoretical weapons suddenly found their projects getting unlimited funding. Soldiers who had been training for wars against other humans began adapting their tactics for an enemy they had never imagined. The Galactic Council had made their first mistake. They had assumed that humans, like every other species they had encountered, would be reasonable. They expected fear, negotiations, maybe even gratitude for being offered a chance to surrender. Instead, it just declared war on a species that had spent its entire evolutionary history learning how to fight and survive against impossible odds. Commander Zethkar watched the human communications networks light up like a Christmas tree. Instead of surrender broadcasts, he was seeing military mobilization on a scale that defied belief. Every human government was coordinating with every other human government. Ancient enemies were suddenly working together against the alien threat. "Sir," whispered Nexter, "I don't think they're going to surrender." Zethkar looked at his tactical display and felt a chill run through his alien body. The humans weren't just refusing to surrender. They were preparing to fight back. Against technology they didn't understand, against ships they couldn't see, against an enemy from the stars themselves, they were going to fight. And that changed everything. The alien message had been broadcast to Earth for exactly 12 hours when humanity gave its answer. It wasn't the answer the Galactic Council expected. General Patricia Hayes stood at the podium in the United Nations building, looking out at representatives from every nation on Earth. Her gray hair was pulled back tightly, and her eyes were hard as steel. She had fought in 3 wars during her career, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the packed assembly hall, "we have received an ultimatum from an unknown enemy. They demand our surrender. They threaten our destruction. Our response is simple. Earth does not negotiate with terrorists, no matter what planet they come from." The room erupted in cheers and applause. Every delegate, regardless of their country's politics or past conflicts, stood and clapped. For the first time in human history, the entire species was united against a common threat. President William Carter was already on the phone with military leaders around the world. Within hours of the alien message, he had authorized something called Project Shadowfall. For 20 years, this secret program had been developing weapons to defend Earth against asteroids and comets. Now those same weapons would be turned against alien ships. Colonel Ryan Brooks smiled as he watched his railgun installations come online across 6 continents. These massive weapons could fire tungsten rods at incredible speeds, fast enough to punch through solid steel like it was paper. They had been hidden in mountains and disguised as research facilities for decades. "They want to see what humans can do when we're threatened," Brooks told his assembled staff. "Let's show them why you don't mess with the species that survived." On a death world, the aliens had made several mistakes in their planning, but the biggest one was underestimating human intelligence. Dr. Kevin Shaw, a physics professor at MIT, had been studying the strange energy readings that ships like the USS Endeavour had been detecting for weeks, working with only partial data and a lot of guesswork. Shaw managed to figure out the basic principles behind alien cloaking technology. It wasn't magic. It was advanced physics, but still physics that humans could understand. The beauty of their system, Shaw explained to Defense Secretary Maria Santos over a secure video link, is that it bends electromagnetic radiation around. Their ships, light, radio waves, everything just flows around them like water around a rock. But if you know what to look for, you can detect the distortion. Within 48 hours of first contact, Shfu's prototype detection system was being installed on every military satellite radar station and warship on Earth. The aliens' main advantage, their invisibility, was about to disappear. Commander Zethkar watched from his flagship as human military forces moved with terrifying efficiency. Their primitive rockets suddenly sprouted sophisticated sensor packages. Their orbital platforms revealed weapon systems that had been hidden for years. Their communication networks adapted to frequencies that the aliens thought were beyond human understanding, reported Tactical Officer Nexstar, his voice barely a whisper. "The humans aren't running away. They're hunting us." The first real battle happened near Mars. Captain Helen Moore was commanding the destroyer USS Defiance when her new detection systems picked up something that shouldn't have been there. A large object was moving through space near the red planet. Completely invisible to normal sensors, but clear as day on, Chhua's new equipment. Moore was a 20-year veteran of the Navy. She had served in conflicts around the world. She knew an enemy ship when she saw one. The fact that this enemy came from another star didn't change her training. "It's all hands battle stations," she announced over the ship's intercom. "This is not a drill. We've detected a hostile alien vessel and we are engaging, Lieutenant Commander." Steve Walsh, her weapons officer, looked up from his console with surprise. "Ma'am, we've never fought aliens before. We don't know what their ships can do." Moore's smile was cold and dangerous. "Maybe not, Steve, but they've never fought humans before either. Fire all missiles. Target the center of that distortion." The USS Defiance launched 16 cruise missiles, each one equipped with a tungsten penetrator warhead. The alien scout ship, designed for reconnaissance against civilized species who followed proper contact protocols, had no defense against humanity's crude but devastating kinetic weapons. The alien vessel tried to evade, but its pilot had never faced weapons that moved so fast and hit so hard. The first missile punched through the ship's hull like it was made of tissue paper. Explosion tore the scout ship apart, sending debris spinning into the cold vacuum of space. "Target destroyed," Walsh announced, his voice filled with amazement. "Ma'am, we just killed our first alien." The destruction of Scout Vessel Whisper's Edge sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council that were felt on dozens of worlds. For the first time in their recorded history, a species that couldn't even travel between stars had successfully destroyed one of their ships in open combat. Admiral Quinthara received the news while she was meeting with the Council's military commanders. The holographic display showed the wreckage of the scout ship scattered across thousands of miles of space. There was no doubt about what had happened. The humans had won their first battle. "How is this possible?" demanded General Crickstal of the Hegemony Defense Forces. They don't have energy shields. They don't have plasma weapons. They're using primitive kinetic projectiles. Primitive, but effective, the Admiral replied grimly. Our ships are designed to fight civilized enemies who use civilized weapons. Energy shields don't stop solid objects moving at 30,000 meters per second. Back on Earth, the victory near Mars was being celebrated in every capital city. Humans had proven that the aliens could be beaten. Their technology might be more advanced, but it wasn't perfect. Could be defeated by human weapons and human tactics. Dr. Shaw was already working on his next project. Analysis of the debris from the alien scout ship had revealed new information about their technology. Their power systems were incredibly efficient, but they were also incredibly specialized. They had been designed to work perfectly under controlled conditions, not in the chaos of actual combat. Their entire approach to engineering is different from ours. Shaw explained to a meeting of top scientists and military leaders. We build things to work even when they're damaged, even when conditions are bad. They build things to work perfectly when everything goes right. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Morrison and the crew of the USS Endeavour had detected another alien ship, this one much larger than the scout vessel. It was hiding behind one of Jupiter's moons, probably watching human activities and reporting back to the main fleet. Amy, how many missiles do we have? Morrison asked his weapons officer. Lieutenant Rodriguez checked her console. Conventional warheads, Captain, plus the new experimental ones that Dr. Shaw's team designed. Morrison nodded. The experimental missiles were equipped with Shaw's reverse-engineered shield technology. If his theories were correct, they would be able to punch through alien defenses that could stop normal weapons. Load tubes 1 through 6 with the experimental warheads, Morrison ordered. It's time to field test our new toys. The alien ship detected the incoming missiles and activated its defensive systems. Energy barriers sprang up around the vessel, designed to absorb or deflect any normal attack. The first 3 missiles struck the shields and were destroyed harmlessly. But the last 3 missiles were different. As they approached the alien shields, they activated Shaw's new technology. The missile warheads began to vibrate at specific frequencies, matching the resonance of the alien energy barriers. Instead of being stopped by the shields, the missiles passed right through them as if they didn't exist. The explosions lit up the space around Jupiter like tiny suns. When the light faded, there was nothing left of the alien vessel but glowing debris and expanding clouds of gas. On the alien flagship, Commander Zethkar stared at the tactical display in disbelief. In less than 72 hours, the humans had gone from not knowing aliens existed to destroying 2 of his ships with weapons that shouldn't have been able to touch them. Sir, whispered Communications Officer Televan, we're receiving a transmission from the human planet. It's in our language. Zethkar felt his blood turn cold. Put it on the main screen. The face that appeared was that of Dr. Lisa Park, the human scientist who had first detected their communications. But now, she was standing in what looked like a military command center, surrounded by human officers and walls of advanced equipment. Commander Zethkar of the Galactic Council vessel, Hidden Talon, she said in perfect galactic standard, this is Dr. Lisa Park of Earth. We have a message for you and your fleet. You came here expecting to find a primitive species that would surrender to superior technology. Instead, you found humans. We don't surrender. We adapt. We learn. We fight back, and we win. The transmission ended, leaving the alien bridge in stunned silence. Somehow, in just 3 days, the humans had learned their language, cracked their communication codes, and identified his ship by name. They weren't just fighting back. They were demonstrating capabilities that should have been impossible for a pre-space flight civilization. Admiral Quinthara had seen enough. The humans had destroyed 2 of her ships and somehow learned to speak Galactic Standard in just 3 days. It was time to stop treating this like a simple pacification mission and start treating it like a real war. Send word to the 3rd Pacification Fleet, she ordered her communications officer. Tell Admiral Catherine to bring 12 heavy cruisers and all their escort ships. If the humans want to fight, we'll give them one they can't possibly win. The alien fleet that jumped into the solar system 1 week later was massive. 12 ships, each one over a mile long and bristling with weapons that could crack planets. They moved in perfect formation toward Earth, confident that no primitive species could stand against such overwhelming firepower. But humanity had spent thousands of years learning how to fight enemies that were bigger, stronger, and better equipped. They called it asymmetric warfare, and humans were very good at it. Captain Dan Foster commanded the submarine USS Virginia, currently running silent beneath the Pacific Ocean. His boat was 200 feet underwater when his sonar operator picked up something impossible. "Captain," called sonar technician First Class Nicole Webb, "I'm reading a massive object directly above us. It's hovering about 500 feet over the surface." Foster looked at his displays in amazement. One of the alien heavy cruisers was floating in the air above the ocean, probably scanning for human military installations. The aliens clearly didn't understand that humans could attack from underwater. At load tubes 1 through 4 with Trident missiles, Foster ordered. "Modify the warheads with Dr. Shaw's new shield-piercing technology." "Hey, sir," said his weapons officer. "We've never tried submarine-to-space warfare before." Foster smiled grimly. "Today we're going to invent it. Fire." When ready, the 4 missiles erupted from the submarine and broke the surface of the ocean like giant metal dolphins. They climbed straight up toward the alien ship, their modified warheads humming with energy that matched the frequency of alien defensive shields. The alien cruiser, Dominion's Fist, never saw the attack coming. Her sensors were designed to watch for threats from space, not from beneath an ocean. The missiles passed through their shields like they weren't even there and struck the ship's main reactor. The explosion was visible from 3 continents. The alien ship broke apart in a ball of white-hot plasma and crashed into the Pacific Ocean, sending tsunamis racing toward distant shores. Captain Foster's submarine had just proven that humans could attack alien ships from places the aliens never expected. The wreckage of Dominion's Fist provided humanity with something even more valuable than victory. It gave them intact samples of alien technology. Dr. Carol Reed, leading a joint team of scientists from NASA and MIT, had been waiting for this opportunity, working around the clock. Reed's team reverse-engineered the alien power systems in just 72 hours. They discovered that alien technology was incredibly advanced, but also incredibly specialized. The aliens had never needed to design their systems to survive the kind of brutal damage that human weapons could deliver. "Their engineering philosophy is completely different from ours," Reed explained to Pentagon officials via secure video link. "We design things to keep working even when they're broken. They design things to work perfectly when nothing goes wrong." This discovery led to a new strategy. Instead of trying to match alien technology, humans would focus on breaking it in ways the aliens never expected. Major Pete Johnson's Special Forces team was about to test this theory. His squad had been tracking a damaged alien frigate that had made an emergency landing in the Nevada desert. The ship was still functional, but its crew was trying to repair battle damage. "Remember," Johnson told his team as they approached the alien vessel, "these corridors weren't designed for fighting. No blast doors, no defensive positions. They've never had to fight inside their own ships before." Using shaped charges and titanium cutting tools, Johnson's squad breached the alien hull in 3 places simultaneously. They moved through the ship like a pack of wolves, using human close-quarters combat techniques that the aliens had never encountered. The alien crew fought back with energy weapons, but they were designed for use in the vacuum of space, not in the cramped corridors of their own ship. Human soldiers with simple projectile weapons and body armor proved more effective in the confined space than aliens with advanced technology. "Control, this is Johnson," the major reported as his team secured the alien ship. "Target is neutralized. We now have our first intact alien vessel." But the psychological warfare was proving even more effective than the physical battles. Sergeant First Class Linda Gray, a signals intelligence specialist, had been broadcasting human entertainment across alien communication frequencies for days. The aliens, with their carefully ordered society and predictable behavior patterns, were completely unprepared for the chaotic creativity of human culture. Gray was sending them everything from heavy metal music to comedy shows to action movies, The psychological impact on alien crews was devastating. "Sir," reported Communications Officer Televan to Commander Zethkar, "the humans are transmitting what appears to be artistic expressions of violence and chaos. Our crew members are reporting nightmares and inability to concentrate. The aliens simply couldn't understand how a species could create entertainment about war, destruction, and conflict. To them, these things were to be avoided at all costs. To humans, they were sources of inspiration and excitement." Dr. Angela Price, working with a team of linguists and computer programmers, delivered the most devastating psychological blow of all. She had been studying the alien communication networks for weeks, learning not just their language, but their protocols, their security systems, and their cultural weaknesses. Late one night, Price managed to hack into the main alien communication network. Her message was broadcast to every ship in the alien fleet simultaneously, in perfect galactic standard with flawless grammar and pronunciation. "Warriors of the Galactic Council." Her voice rang out across dozens of alien vessels. "This is Dr. Angela Price of Earth. We know who you are. We know where you come from. We've studied your star charts and identified every world in your territory. Your homeworlds are no longer safe. We are coming for you." The message was accompanied by detailed star maps showing the locations of every major alien civilization, complete with planetary defense information and population data. Humanity had not only cracked alien navigation systems, but it also announced their intention to take the war to the enemy's doorstep. The panic that spread through the alien fleet was immediate and total. Species that had never been threatened in their own star systems suddenly realized that these primitive humans somehow knew exactly where to find them. Commander Zethkar stared at the star maps in horror. The humans had displayed detailed knowledge of military installations, population centers, and defensive capabilities across a dozen worlds. Information that should have been impossible for them to obtain. "How did they get this data?" he whispered. To his intelligence officer, Sir Krelton replied, his voice shaking. "It must have been monitoring our communications and navigation systems since the first day of contact. They've been learning everything about us, while we underestimated them on Earth. Humanity was discovering that their greatest advantage wasn't their weapons or their technology. It was their ability to adapt and innovate under pressure." Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Chen, an electronics warfare specialist, made a discovery that would change everything. Human electronics were far more resistant to electromagnetic pulse attacks than alien systems. This was because humans had been building their technology to survive in Earth's chaotic electromagnetic environment for decades. Solar flares, atmospheric disturbances, and magnetic field fluctuations were just part of life on Earth. "The secret," Chen explained to his engineering team, "is that our equipment has to work through electromagnetic chaos every day. Theirs is designed for the clean, stable conditions of space and garden worlds." This led to the development of EMT, bombs specifically designed to disable alien ships while leaving human equipment unaffected. The first test was conducted against an alien destroyer that had been separated from the main fleet. The EMP burst knocked out every system on the alien ship instantly. Their perfectly designed electronics, optimized for ideal conditions, simply couldn't handle the electromagnetic chaos that human equipment dealt with routinely. Meanwhile, NASA Administrator Dr. Jennifer Walsh was authorizing humanity's boldest move yet. She had approved the conversion of space shuttles into kinetic weapons platforms. Pilot Commander Alex Turner volunteered for the first mission despite knowing it was essentially a suicide run. "This is Turner to Houston Control," the pilot transmitted as his modified shuttle accelerated toward the alien flagship. "I'm beginning my attack run. Speed is 17,000 miles per hour and climbing." Turner's shuttle, loaded with tungsten penetrators and shield-piercing warheads, was aimed directly at the alien flagship's primary reactor. The aliens tried to shoot him down, but a single small target moving at that speed was almost impossible to hit. "Tell my kids their dad helped. Save the world," Turner transmitted in what everyone thought would be his final message. Turner out. The war entered its most dangerous phase when humanity decided to show the aliens exactly why evolution on a death world produced the galaxy's most terrifying warriors. Dr. Richard Hayes, working with a team of combat engineers, had a simple but deadly idea: weaponize Earth itself against the alien invaders. They're adapted to garden worlds. Hayes explained to General Patricia Hayes during a briefing deep inside NORAD's mountain headquarters. Clean air, stable weather, predictable conditions. Let's show them what real environmental warfare looks like. The first demonstration came when Colonel Sandra Miller's Atmospheric Warfare Division released specially designed aerosols into the upper atmosphere above alien positions. The compounds were completely harmless to humans, who had evolved breathing Earth's chaotic atmospheric mix for millions of years. But for aliens adapted to clean, filtered air, the particles created a toxic nightmare. Enemy forces are experiencing widespread equipment failures, reported Captain Frank Pierce from his observation post high in the Colorado Rockies. Their air filtration systems weren't designed to handle the particulate matter we're creating. They're choking on our air. Alien soldiers, forced to rely entirely on their environmental suits, found their equipment failing within hours. Suits had been designed for short-term exposure to hostile environments. It's not for extended operations in the biological soup that was Earth's atmosphere. But humanity's greatest advantage was becoming clear in every battle: their ability to adapt and innovate under extreme pressure. Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Chen, electronics warfare specialist who had discovered alien vulnerability to electromagnetic pulses, made another breakthrough that would change the war completely. Human electronics are naturally hardened against EMP because we've been dealing with solar storms and atmospheric interference for decades. Chen explained to his assembled team, but there's more. Our equipment is also naturally resistant to the specific frequencies that alien weapons use. This discovery led to a new generation of weapons that could disable entire alien squadrons without affecting human equipment at all. The first field test came when alien reinforcements tried to land near Los Angeles. Chen's new EMP bombs detonated in the atmosphere above the alien landing force. Every alien vehicle, weapon, and piece of equipment went dark instantly. But human military units in the same area continued operating normally, their equipment completely unaffected by the electromagnetic burst. The turning point of the entire war came when NASA, Administrator Dr. Jennifer Walsh, authorized the most audacious plan in human history. She gave permission to use converted space shuttles as guided missiles against the alien mothership itself. Commander Alex Turner, who had survived his previous suicide mission through careful planning and a custom escape pod, volunteered to lead the attack. This time, he wouldn't be alone. 12 pilots had volunteered for what everyone assumed would be a one-way mission. "This is Turner to all pilots," he transmitted as the modified shuttles accelerated toward the massive alien vessel. "Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting to prove that no one threatens humanity and gets away with it." The alien mothership was over 5 miles long and protected by the most advanced defensive systems in the galaxy. Shields could stop planet-killing asteroids. Its weapons could destroy entire fleets. But it had never faced an attack like this. Turner's shuttle hit the mothership's primary shield generator at 18,000 miles per hour. Explosion could be seen from Mars, a brilliant flash that temporarily outshone the sun. Turner had ejected safely again. Its escape pod automatically picked up by waiting rescue ships. The destruction of the mothership's shields left it vulnerable for exactly 17 seconds. That was all the time the other 11 pilots needed. Shuttles loaded with every piece of alien technology that Dr. Reed's team had reverse-engineered struck the mothership in perfect sequence. The alien flagship, Pride of the Galactic, Council fleet broke apart in a series of explosions that lit up the entire solar system. Debris rained down on Jupiter's moons, and the shockwave was felt on Earth 12 minutes later. Commander Zethkar, watching from his own ship, could barely believe what he was seeing. The humans had just destroyed the most powerful vessel in the known galaxy using primitive spacecraft and raw courage. No species in galactic history had ever attempted anything so insane. "Sir," whispered his tactical officer, "should we... should we retreat?" Zethkar looked at his remaining ships and realized that retreat might not even be possible. The humans weren't just defending their planet anymore. They were hunting. Master Sergeant Tony Rodriguez had been studying alien technologies since the first pieces of wreckage fell to Earth. His bomb disposal expertise had evolved into something the aliens had never countered: sabotage warfare specifically, designed to exploit their technological weaknesses. Every alien system has the same problem, Rodriguez explained to his special operations team. They're designed to work perfectly when everything goes according to plan. But war never goes according to plan. Rodriguez's team had infiltrated 3 more alien ships using techniques that the aliens couldn't understand. Instead of trying to fight their way through heavily defended areas, humans simply cut through hull plating in unexpected places, crawled through ventilation systems, and attacked from directions that no civilized species would ever consider. The aliens had designed their ships for space combat against other ships, for boarding actions by creatures who could survive in environments that would kill most galactic species instantly. Human soldiers could operate in partial vacuum, extreme cold, radiation levels that were lethal to aliens. Meanwhile, Dr. Michelle Foster's bioweapons research had revealed something that terrified the Galactic Council more than any human weapon. Earth's normal biological environment was completely lethal to most alien species. "We don't need to develop biological weapons," Foster announced during a Joint Chiefs meeting. "We just need to expose them to Earth's normal bacteria and viruses. Their immune systems have never encountered anything like what we carry naturally." The first test of biological warfare came when alien prisoners were housed in a standard Earth facility with normal air circulation. Within 48 hours, every alien was dead from what humans would consider a minor respiratory infection. The psychological impact on the remaining alien forces was devastating. They realized that even breathing the same air as humans could kill them. Their environmental suits became their only protection. But those suits had never been designed for extended combat operations. Dr. Carroll? Reed's reverse engineering team made another breakthrough when they finally understood how alien faster-than-light travel worked. The technology was incredibly advanced, but it was also incredibly dependent on precise calculations and stable conditions. Their FTL drives require perfect navigation data, Reed explained to Admiral Patricia Hayes. "But we've been jamming their navigation systems and feeding them false data for weeks. They can't safely jump to light speed without risking appearing inside a star or a planet." This meant the alien fleet was trapped in the solar system, unable to retreat without risking complete destruction. They were stuck fighting humans on humanity's home ground. And humans were very good at home field advantage. Colonel Sandra Miller's Atmospheric Warfare Division had developed new techniques that turned Earth's weather into a weapon. By seeding clouds with specific particles, they could create electrical storms that interfered with alien sensors and communication systems. "The aliens are adapted to clean, stable, atmospheric conditions," Miller reported. "When we create electrical interference, their equipment fails. When we change atmospheric pressure, their suits malfunction. We're using their own technological dependence against them." The war was becoming a demonstration of why Deathworld species were so dangerous. Humans didn't just survive in extreme conditions. They had learned to use those conditions as tools. Every aspect of Earth's hostile environment had become a weapon in human hands. Dr. Kevin Shaw, the physicist who had first cracked alien cloaking technology, made the final breakthrough that would end the war. He had been studying the wreckage of alien ships for months, learning how their technology really worked. Their entire technological base depends on stable, predictable conditions, Shaw announced to the combined scientific team. "But chaos is our natural state. We've learned to make our technology work in chaos. Theirs can't." This led to the development of what humans called chaos bombs, devices that created random electromagnetic interference, sudden pressure changes, temperature fluctuations, and gravitational anomalies. For humans, these were just more extreme versions of Earth's normal conditions. For aliens, they were technological death sentences. The final battle of the war began when the remaining alien ships tried to escape the solar system. But humanity had prepared one last surprise. Hidden installations throughout the outer solar system activated simultaneously, creating a barrier of electromagnetic chaos that no alien ship could cross. The aliens were trapped, their technology failing, their environmental suits breaking down, and their crews dying from simple exposure to conditions that humans considered normal. The final phase of the war began, not with massive battles or explosions, but with a single human stepping out of the darkness where humanity had been hiding for thousands of years. Captain Rachel Bennett stood on the bridge of the prototype starship Horizon, humanity's first vessel capable of faster-than-light travel. "Houston, this is Horizon." Bennett transmitted from somewhere near Alpha Centauri, over 4 light-years from Earth. "We have successfully completed our first FTL jump using reverse-engineered alien technology, beginning deep space reconnaissance of enemy fleet positions." The message sent shockwaves through what remained of the Galactic Council. The primitive Deathworlders had not only survived their pacification attempt, but had somehow stolen interstellar travel technology and were now loose in the galaxy. Admiral Quinthara stared at her tactical displays in disbelief. Her sensors showed human ships appearing in star systems across the local sector. Somehow, in just 3 months of war, humanity had built a space fleet and was spreading throughout the galaxy like a virus. "Sir," reported intelligence officer Krelton, his voice shaking with fear, "we've intercepted human communications indicating they've established forward bases in 17 different star systems. They're not just defending their homeworld anymore, they're expanding." The human strategy was brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of trying to match alien technology piece by piece, they had focused on doing what Deathworlders did best: adapting, surviving, and thriving in hostile environments that would kill most other species. Lieutenant Colonel Gary Roberts led the first human colonization mission to Kepler-4 for A-B, a world the aliens had abandoned centuries ago because of its uninhabitable conditions. The planet had gravity twice as strong as Earth's and an atmosphere filled with toxic gases that would kill most galactic species within minutes. "The gravity's only twice Earth's normal," Roberts reported to Colonial Command back on Earth. "And the atmosphere's got a decent oxygen mix once you filter out the sulfur compounds. The local wildlife's pretty aggressive, but nothing we can't handle." Requesting permission to establish permanent settlement, within weeks, humans were setting up colonies on worlds that the Galactic Council considered death traps. Planets with crushing gravity, poisonous atmospheres, extreme weather, and deadly predators became humanity's new frontier worlds. What the aliens saw as uninhabitable wastelands, humans saw as new homes. Dr. Susan Clark's xenobiology team made first contact with the Velkari, a species that had been enslaved by the Galactic Council for over 3 centuries. The Valkyrie had evolved on a harsh desert world with conditions almost as extreme as Earth's, and they recognized kindred spirits in humanity. The Starfather spoke of terrible creatures from the void, translated Valkyrie Elder Sithril through the universal translator that Dr. Clark's team had developed. "But you are not terrible. You are free, as we wish to be free." This was the moment that changed everything. Humanity realized they weren't just fighting for Earth's survival. They were fighting for the freedom of every species that the Galactic discrews. Council had conquered and enslaved over the millennia. Within 6 months, humanity had formed alliances with 17 different non-Council species, all of them victims of the galaxy's so-called civilized powers. The Deathworlders had become the champions of the oppressed, leading a rebellion that spread across dozens of star systems. Captain Jake Morrison, now commanding the heavy cruiser USS Endeavour, found himself leading a fleet that included ships from a dozen different species. Human engineering teams worked alongside Velkari warriors and Zephyrian technicians, sharing technology and tactics against their common enemy. "It's ironic," Morrison told his mixed-species crew during a briefing. "The Council called us primitive and violent, but they're the ones who built an empire on conquest and slavery. We're the ones fighting to set people free." The war's end came not through military victory, but through a demonstration of power that left the entire galaxy stunned. President William Carter stood before the United Nations General Assembly, that his words were being broadcast to every inhabited world in the galaxy. "Citizens of Earth and citizens of the galaxy," Carter began, his voice carrying clearly through the packed assembly hall. Today we make our position clear to those who would threaten our freedom or the freedom of any species. We did not ask to be discovered, did not seek this conflict, but since it has been forced upon us, we will finish it. The demonstration was simple but terrifying. Dr. Lisa Park, a xenorchaeologist whose discovery had started everything, now stood aboard humanity's first battle station, a converted asteroid equipped with weapons that could crack planets like eggs. The battle station had been built in secret, using alien technology and human engineering. It was positioned in the home system of the Galactic Council, hidden among the asteroid belt where no one expected to find it. The next shot will not be a warning, Park announced across all galactic communication frequencies as she fired a test blast that vaporized an uninhabited moon. Any fleet, any world, any force that threatens human space or our allies will face complete destruction. We are the Deathworlders, and we are no longer hiding in the shadows. The Galactic Council's surrender came within hours. For the first time in their recorded history, they were forced to negotiate with the species they had tried to destroy. But more importantly, humanity had freed dozens of enslaved species and established a new way of thinking about galactic politics. Commander Zethkar, now a prisoner aboard the USS Endeavour, asked Captain Jake Morrison the question that haunted every alien who had encountered humanity. How did a species from a single death world become so powerful so quickly? Morrison looked out at the stars that no longer seemed distant and threatening. Human ships were visible in every direction, some heading to new colony worlds, others escorting freed alien refugees to safety. We didn't become powerful despite being from a death world, Commander, Morrison explained. We became powerful because of it. Every day of our lives, our own planet tried to kill us. Surviving that made us stronger than anything you could throw at us. Dr. Carol Reed's research teams were now working with scientists from dozens of species, sharing the secrets of human adaptability and innovation. The galaxy was learning that cooperation produced better results than conquest. The beautiful thing about chaos, Reed explained to a mixed audience of human and alien scientists, is that it teaches you to expect the unexpected. When you're used to everything going wrong, you learn to make the best of any situation. Admiral Patricia Hayes, now commanding the Earth Defense Force's expanding fleet, established the first interspecies military academy on the Moon. Students from across the galaxy came to learn human tactics and philosophy. We're not teaching them how to fight like humans, Hayes explained to reporters. We're teaching them how to think like humans, how to turn problems into opportunities, how to make strength from weakness. The age of human expansion had truly begun, but it wasn't the violent conquest that the Galactic Council had feared. Instead, humanity was spreading freedom, cooperation, and the revolutionary idea that no species should bow to another. Dr. Kevin Shaw, working with alien scientists, developed new technologies that combined the best of human adaptability with alien precision. Starships that could repair themselves in battle, colonies that could thrive in any environment, weapons that protected rather than destroyed. The galaxy thought we were monsters, Shaw said during the dedication of the first joint human-alien research station. Instead, they found liberators. As the first human ambassador to the reformed Galactic Council, Dr. Angela Price stood before representatives of hundreds of species and delivered humanity's message to the galaxy. For too long, this galaxy has been ruled by fear, she announced. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of species that are different. Humanity offers a different path. We offer friendship to those who want it, protection to those who need it, and freedom to those who have been denied it. The aliens had waited in fear for the terrible creatures from the death world to emerge from the shadows. Instead, they found that the shadows had been hiding not monsters, but the galaxy's salvation. Commander Zethkar, granted freedom in exchange for his cooperation, stood on the observation deck of a human space station and watched ships from dozens of species working together. His homeworld was now free from council rule, his people learning to govern themselves for the first time in centuries. We were so afraid of you, he told Captain Morrison during their final meeting. We thought Deathworlders would destroy everything. Morrison smiled and gestured toward the view of space, where human and alien crews worked side by side to build a better galaxy. We did destroy something, Commander. We destroyed the idea that might makes right. We destroyed the idea that some species are meant to rule over others. We destroyed the shadows that this galaxy had been hiding in for far too long. The galaxy would never be the same. The humans had emerged from their small blue world not as conquerors, but as liberators. They had taken their place among the stars, not through fear and intimidation, but through courage and compassion.